Resident Evil. One of the best video game franchises in existence. With its seamless mix of resource management, puzzle solving, tense as shit boss battles, and overall tangible survival horror experience, most of them anyway, it's no wonder that the series has continued to thrive. Makes sense to talk about the canon animated movies, am I right? Now folks, full disclosure, I don't love any of these movies. These movies are made with one purpose in mind: to cater to fans of the games. Yeah, good luck if you're a newcomer trying to follow along. They exist to fill voids between games, and you can tell plots and villains are generally recycled. But there are some that are better than others. So let's take a look. Coming in at number 6, we have Degeneration. This is the first feature-length CG Resi movie that sees Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield battling a former Raccoon City resident that wants revenge. When it comes to presentation, Degeneration is nothing short of a train wreck. The animation and sound mixing are absolutely dire. The characters in this movie are completely bereft of expression. The lip synchronicity with the dialogue is at times embarrassingly inaccurate. I had a hard time engaging with the movie because of how poorly it's aged visually. It's not even funny how vacant everyone looks here. With regards to the voice acting, it's not very good, but more importantly, even if it was good, the sound mixing wouldn't have done justice to anybody. I watched the movie at full volume and the quality just sounded so weird and faint. I vividly remember one moment where Claire was just slowly walking through a hall and she was talking at the same time, and her footsteps were louder than her voice, and there wasn't even any reason for that. It's a shame that the movie is as problematic as it is, because this plot had potential. A former resident of Raccoon City wanting revenge, that sounds interesting, and I didn't mind Angela as a character, but definitely in all of animated Resi, Degeneration may have been the first one to really get the ball rolling, but its issues are many, making it hard to enjoy and hard to connect with. It's easily my least favourite. Coming in at number 5, we have Infinite Darkness. This show once again follows Leon getting caught up in a political conspiracy involving a government cover-up. Not at all a hot take, but while Infinite Darkness is better than that other Netflix Resi show, this show itself, it ain't anything special. I don't understand why they didn't just make this into a movie, considering that lengthwise, all 4 episodes amount to about the same as the movies do. The major sell for this show is that Nick Apostolidis and Stephanie Panisello from Resi 2 Remake were reprising their roles as Leon and Claire. Oh yeah, Claire's in the show. Folks, Claire Redfield is my favourite Resident Evil protagonist, which is why I get easily frustrated when I recognise that she is being wasted. She is wasted in Infinite Darkness. Wasted. She has no impact on the story. She is at best a passive bystander, and I especially disliked where the show left her and Leon by the end. The animation, characterization, and the action is fine all around. It's a show you can get through in less than 2 hours. The episodes aren't too long, meaning the show is able to maintain a finer sense of urgency with the story at hand, but the story itself is very generic. The characters are never really in danger. The supporting cast, aside from Jason, didn't really do anything for me. The plot is basically Resident Evil on autopilot, and it's quite forgettable. It's an obvious case of been there, seen that. Coming in at number 4, we have Execute Her. This is a short film. It is only 19 minutes, but in terms of what has been packed into the 19 minutes, this might be the scariest and most unsettling of these animated Resi movies. Now, the CGI obviously hasn't aged well, but I will say it weirdly has a quality that made certain moments stand out. Speaking of which, the ending. Oh, the ending to Execute Her is actually nightmare-inducing. It contains easily some of the scariest imagery I've ever seen in Resident Evil. Up there with Jack Baker in RE7 and the big bitch Beneviento baby in Village. It's fucking gnarly. While it may not be canon, it is definitely worth a watch considering how much they managed to achieve within a short time. Coming in at number 3, we have Death Island. The main villain, while he does have an interesting backstory working for Umbrella, his main objective is not interesting. Infect the world and wipe the slate clean. That's it. It is so overdone. It's so tiring. The writing is a little inconsistent too. The movie has the characters put into some pretty high-stakes situations, arguably the highest I've ever seen. Like, they get infected at one point, and it doesn't meaningfully affect them after. It's kind of treated like a villain of the week episode from television, which this is not. But alas, I did have fun with Death Island. It really was a nice treat seeing every major Resi protagonist assembling. Chris, Jill, Rebecca, Claire, Leon. No Ada, though, which is a shame. Missed opportunity. Jill and Leon is a pairing I never got to see before, and I enjoyed their dynamic. I really like the plot. I like that it takes place in one location akin to some of the games. The action scenes are well done, the final fight with the main villain is a lot of fun, and the voice acting is pretty good all around. The movie is flawed, but it's a nice bit of enjoyable fan service. Coming in at number 2, we have Vendetta. Vendetta is a damn fun little action movie. The villain, again, is over the top as all hell and bland as balls with his objective. But I enjoyed seeing Chris and Leon working together. Something that I'll definitely remember the movie for is one scene in particular that really humanizes Leon. After a failed mission, he hits the bottle and he actually starts questioning why he's doing what he's doing and how long he can keep it up for. It was a welcome breath of fresh air to see Leon venting a bit. I will say the way that the scene progresses is friggin' hilarious. The guy responsible for selling out his team just shows up out of nowhere and then dies, and now Leon is back on duty. Like, it sets up a whole new side of Leon we haven't seen before, only to be wrapped up in the same scene. It's very ham-fisted, sure, but I remember it well. I also remember when Chris and the main villain go all equilibrium on one another in the third act. This little moment actually made me laugh so hard, because all I could think of was this. Problems aside, I thought Vendetta had some cool action. It's well paced. The opening where Chris and his team go into the house that looks eerily identical to the Spencer mansion was a lot of fun. It's mostly devoid of horror, and the action at times is a little too OTT, but all in all, I thought this was pretty good. And coming in at number 1, in my honest opinion, the best animated Resi movie goes to Damnation. The only major issue I have with Damnation is pet lickers. Stupid! It's such a stupid idea. I didn't get it. But out of all the animated Resi movies, Damnation is not only the one that I had the most fun with, it's also the least fillery. It felt like something of consequence was taking place. One very pleasant surprise are the characters. JD, he really does get a nice arc throughout. We first meet him as a naive and excited rebel, only to fundamentally change when shit frequently hits the fan and starts helping Leon out when he truly understands what's at stake. I really liked him. Buddy, without giving any spoilers away, the way his arc comes to a conclusion is quite effective. As much as I don't like his psychic ability to control liquors, I thought he worked well as a character. Damnation, much like Vendetta, it is very action heavy, but what really sets it apart is Leon being consistently quippy. Anytime Ada shows up in Resident Evil is always a treat, given how much of a wild card she is, and I also love her dynamic with Leon. Really good action sequences, and a tense as shit climax involving a lot of liquors, and not one, but 2 tyrants. Awesome spectacle. It's great. In the end, I really felt that there was a concerted effort with Damnation. The characters feel purposeful and interesting, the plot felt focused, it clips along at a good pace, and again, the last 20 minutes are fucking dope. I definitely recommend this one the most. It's really good. Míle buíochas, slán live.